For over a decade, my younger brother and I had fought over the same girl, but she always preferred him, the brother who could do it all. It drove me insane. I threw myself into learning everything I could, mastering anything that might make her notice me, even just a glance. By 25, I'd not only graduated from MIT, but earned an MBA from Harvard on top of it. Yet the moment I came home, Eileen Mason pulled her hand away from mine. The only one I like is Marcus. Stop wasting your time. I stood frozen. My buddies had a bottle of whiskey ready, expecting me to drown my sorrows. I didn't take it. I just stood there, a little dazed. Why do I suddenly find her so boring, dull, uninteresting? Nothing but a pretty face. I can't even understand what I saw in her in the first place. Am I just fickle? My buddy laughed. You're not fickle. You've grown. She hasn't. My brother Marcus Farley and I stepped out of the car at the same time. Eileen Mason didn't hesitate. She walked straight past me and looped her arm through his. Marcus shot me a quiet, mocking smile. Smug. Deliberate. Everyone around us ducked their heads and grinned. They all knew what came next. Me snapping at Marcus, fighting for Eileen's attention. Then Eileen would scold me for being immature, and I'd lose my temper, and the whole circus would play out the way it always did. But a moment passed, and I didn't move. All those years, I'd nearly driven myself into the ground trying to earn a single look from Eileen Mason. School, startups, building a media brand from nothing, after navigating boardroom politics, after rubbing shoulders with people who shaped policy at the highest levels. Marcus's little routine? It was laughable. I kept my expression neutral and handed the gift bags to one of the housekeepers. From my parents, for Mr. and Mrs. Mason. Marcus's smile faltered. Eileen frowned and glanced at me. Inside the villa, I noticed the dining room table had only 4 chairs. Mr. Mason, Mrs. Mason, and Eileen already accounted for 3. Marcus let out a soft laugh. Sorry, bro. Forgot to mention you were coming too. Looks like they didn't set a place for you. Why are you apologizing for that? Eileen turned a cold gaze on me. Russ Farley. Marcus didn't do it on purpose. Just go get yourself a chair. There's no need to make him feel bad about it. It was always like this. Eileen always took Marcus's side without question. But the strange thing was, I genuinely felt nothing. I couldn't even remember why I'd fought so bitterly with my brother over her in the first place. Miss Mason, I haven't said a single word yet. Eileen blinked. In the past, I would have already been shouting, accusing Marcus of his passive-aggressive games. Bro, you're upset. Marcus stepped forward. Don't be mad. I'll go grab you a chair. He moved to get one, but Eileen caught his arm and pulled him back. She looked at me, her voice ice cold. This is the Mason house, not a place for you to throw your weight around. If you don't want to get the chair yourself, then don't bother staying for dinner. A few of the housekeepers couldn't hold back their laughter. I caught someone whispering, watch, he'll go fetch it himself like a puppy. Please, when has he ever not swallowed his pride just to sit a little closer to Miss Mason? That won't be necessary. I smiled faintly. I only came to drop off gifts for my parents. I wasn't planning to stay for dinner. Besides, I have somewhere to be. Enjoy your evening. Eileen stared at me. Something unfamiliar flickered across her face. I didn't acknowledge it. I turned and walked out, my stride unhurried. Behind me, Marcus's voice carried a note of wounded confusion. What's so urgent that you have to rush off, bro? Was he actually upset with me? Is that why he didn't stay? Eileen watched as I got into the car and drove away. A slight frown creased her brow. Don't worry about it. Marcus let out a cold laugh. A few years abroad, and his little jealousy games have gotten more sophisticated. I'll give him that. Playing hard to get now. Honestly, I'm starting to wonder if one day you might actually... Eileen pressed a finger to his lips. I told you, you're the only one I want. The truth was, I really did have things to do. I'd started an internet company with a college friend. Business was picking up fast, and I had a dinner meeting with a client that night. My partner sent me a message. Heard you're back in the country. Got a big surprise for you. I fired off a quick reply and didn't think twice about it. If I'd known what that surprise was, I would have told her to cancel it immediately. I hadn't planned on crossing paths with Eileen again, but one of the family elders had a birthday coming up, and given how far back our families went, we'd inevitably end up at the same party. When I arrived with a gift in hand, though, what I walked into was no birthday celebration. It was a proposal. Marcus was down on one knee. The moment he spotted me, a mocking smirk tugged at the corner of his mouth. He slid a diamond ring onto Eileen's finger with deliberate slowness. Congratulations. My parents were the first to start clapping. I stared at them, bewildered. Isn't today Grandpa's birthday? It is. But your grandfather said he wanted to double the celebration. I frowned. You were all this eager to rush their engagement? I genuinely thought this was just... My father cleared his throat. The reason we kept it from you, well, we were afraid you'd try to ruin it. Did you know? Eileen just became the national director at Apex Group. Apex? I froze. That was my company. The one I'd co-founded with my college partner. A daughter-in-law like Eileen doesn't come along every day. Of course we had to lock down the engagement while we could. My mother's voice softened. We know you have feelings for her, sweetheart, but you can't force these things. She's never felt that way about you. Not in all these years. It's time to let go. I said nothing. I looked down at my phone and messaged my partner. Please tell me the surprise isn't Eileen Mason. She sent back a laughing emoji. We all know you're crazy about her. I handled the national staffing myself. She reports directly to you now. You two are going to be joined at the hip from here on out. Haha. I pressed my palm against my forehead. Hey, isn't that Russ Farley? Eileen Mason's little puppy dog? Oh my god, it is. He actually showed up. Look at his face. That poor, tortured expression. I almost feel bad for him. The whispers needled into my skull like a migraine. I gave up on the party and ducked into a side room to call my partner and sort this out. After I'd finished explaining that I was over Eileen, I opened the door. A hand shot out and locked around my wrist. I was dragged down the hallway and shoved into the stairwell. Eileen! I pulled back, caught off guard. She released me with a flick of her wrist. You saw what happened tonight. Her voice was ice. I frowned at her. Marcus and I are engaged now. It's time you found someone and settled down too. Settled down? I let out a dry laugh. Not in my plans at the moment. So you're just going to keep clinging to something that was never yours? I blinked. Then it clicked. She'd misread me completely. What I mean is, I'm not looking to get married because my career is still taking off. That's all. Eileen studied me for a long moment. She laughed suddenly. Don't you think that's a pathetic excuse? I froze. The CEO of Apex is a man around your age. Even he has his mind on settling down. So what exactly are you pretending for? I couldn't find a rebuttal. Everyone knew I'd been lovesick for years. The problem was, now that I'd finally come to my senses, nobody believed it. Not even my own business partner. Let me make this clear, Russ. She lifted her chin. I didn't like you before, and now that I'm engaged, there's even less of a chance. If you keep throwing yourself at me, I'll only despise you more. Unless, her eyes narrowed. You think you can be my side piece? In that moment, I understood myself even less than before. This woman standing in front of me, shallow, arrogant, completely classless. Why had I torn myself apart fighting with Marcus over her? A cold laugh escaped my throat. I turned and walked away. My partner would have to come apologize on her own time. I stood at the banquet, quietly nursing a drink. A snap of fingers. 7 or 8 women descended on me, surrounding me on all sides. Well, if it isn't the eldest Farley son, Eileen's engagement party, and you actually showed up. We were all betting you'd be too heartbroken to come. Looks like the eldest young master is still carrying that torch. A hand slid onto my thigh. I shoved it away in irritation. Ooh, a few years studying abroad and suddenly he's too good for us. This isn't like the old days when you were begging us to put in a good word for you. Back when I was hopelessly in love with Eileen, I hadn't just groveled for her. I'd groveled for her entire circle. Marcus was the multi-talented one, the one I could never measure up to. My only hope had been these women, convincing them to say something kind about me in front of Eileen. I'd memorized all of Eileen's hobbies. I'd memorized all of their hobbies too. Every year, I sent lavish gifts, practically bribing them to help me leave a good impression. Looking back now, I genuinely couldn't fathom the person I used to be. I simply hadn't known any better. Look, Eileen's engaged now. You never had a shot. You just can't compete with your little brother for her affection. That's a fact. She paused. But it's not completely hopeless. One of the women leaned in close. The reek of cheap perfume and alcohol spread through my nostrils. You let us girls break you in for one night, and we'll put in a good word. Get you a spot in Eileen's bed down the line. How's that sound? I tried to pull away. Fingers clamped around my jaw. Don't be shy. We'll keep it our little secret. Oh? Eileen? Someone spotted Eileen passing by. Eileen! I stood up, but the women clung to me, holding me in place. She'd heard everything. Every word. Eileen! Tell your friends to back off. A flicker of surprise crossed the women's faces. They glanced at one another, but Eileen simply let one of them loop an arm around her waist. Her expression didn't change. Not a flicker. She turned and walked away. Easy there, young master. 2 of them pressed me back down, one on each side. A glass was pushed to my lips. How do you still not get it? In Eileen's world, your brother ranks above us. We rank above the dog, and the dog ranks above you. My face went cold. So be a good boy. Let us clean you up nice, and we'll talk to Eileen for you. Get you a spot at her side as her loyal little pet. That's right. Relax. We'll keep it between us. The champagne flute tightened in my grip until my knuckles went white. Crack. The glass shattered in my grip. They stared at the shards in my hand, momentarily stunned. Who exactly do you think you're humiliating? I'd spent years outpacing Marcus, not just in degrees and credentials. In athletics, too. The woman hit the floor hard. You ungrateful little. I turned to leave. A bottle smashed against the back of my skull. My vision swam, but years of disciplined training kept my legs under me. I gritted my teeth, seized the woman who'd blindsided me by the throat, and slammed her head into the table. You want to ruin me? I looked down at her. You're not even close. Slap. A palm cracked across my face without warning. I stumbled 2 steps and caught myself on the back of a sofa. Eileen stood there, brow furrowed. All I did was accept Marcus's proposal. What is wrong with you? My parents came rushing out at the commotion. Mom took one look at the women groaning in pain and shoved me hard. What do you think you're doing? Just because your brother got engaged to Eileen today, you're going to trash the place. It's your grandfather's birthday. Can you act like an adult for once? The guests hadn't heard what those women said to me. They looked over with disapproving frowns. You're 25 years old. Grow up. She doesn't want you. Throwing punches and breaking things isn't going to change that. Marcus's eyes went red. Russ, if you really can't handle it, here. He held up his hand, tugging at his ring. Take it. Just please stop making this harder for us. He actually started pulling the ring off his finger. Eileen grabbed his hand and stopped him. Russ Farley, are you really this pathetic? I'm engaged and you're still causing a scene? She tilted her chin up. You want to be with me that badly? She pulled Marcus closer. Make Marcus happy first. Then I'll consider you. Eileen? Marcus turned to look at her. She gave a soft laugh. He won't leave me alone, so we might as well use it. But if he wants me to accept him, he has to get through you first. She traced a finger along Marcus's jaw. I'm sure you can find ways to keep him in line. Something flickered behind Marcus's eyes. Delight. Eileen looked at me. There. Simple enough for you to understand? I touched the cheek she'd slapped. Said nothing. Just stepped forward. Slap. Gave it right back. Mom grabbed my arm. What are you doing? Marcus let out a strangled gasp. Russ, if you want to hit someone, hit me. Don't touch her. Hit you? I laughed. You're not worth the effort. You, Eileen. I looked her dead in the eye. As CEO of Apex Group, I'm terminating your employment. Don't bother showing up.